Hello and welcome to this Portugal Calling Expats Portugal webinar comparing health insurance plans in Portugal. Best man for this is Nuno Mendes from Winsurance. Good evening to you, Nuno. Great to have you here.
Hello, thank you so much once again for having me here.
It is fantastic to have
I
you.
really appreciate it.
And you are looking at comparing health insurance plans in the broadest sense of the words there. Every kind of insurance pretty much is what you deal with at Winsurance. And we're looking forward to having a comprehensive deep dive tonight into how you go about it and the ethics and approach of your company, of course.
Yes, so because of that, instead of looking to some tables and comparing cover to cover, limit to limit, and all of that, and avoid that after 30 seconds, people switch off the webinar.
Yeah.
So I changed a little bit the approach because I also believe that if I give you all the tools that you can compare by yourself, it will be more useful. We also don't like that approach that we are the only one that knows about this. So I believe that this educational approach will be better. Okay.
Yeah, and we will have a chance to ask more specific and personal questions, of course, after the presentation.
Oh, yes.
Q&A. Please do get your more general questions into the chat, and I'll make sure those get to Nuno during the recorded session. And good evening to people all over the world, Texas, Kashkash, of course. Anna, good evening to you. The Cayman Islands this evening, Indiana, Seattle, Charlotte, North Carolina, Eastern Virginia, fantastic. Southern California, thank you, Angela. Stuart, we spoke to Stuart briefly on the Dream Team session last week, trying to figure out how to get some of the stuff moved, especially the alcohol that was in the drinks cabinet before moving day. And it looks like Stuart has been busy not only doing that, but cooking food from the freezer as well. That happens when you move, when you make the big move suddenly. You need to not only get rid of all your stuff and belongings, ship it or give it away. You need to make sure all that booze is drunk and that the food in the freezer is eaten as well. So good luck with that, Stuart. It sounds like fun, really. So over to you, Nuno. And you'll see normally at this stage of the webinar, I'm saying to people, I'll make you co-host so that you can share your presentation. Nuno is actually inside his presentation for you this evening. Check this out. Over to you, Nuno.
Thank you so much. I also choose do a quick presentation, maybe 12, 15 minutes, and left as much time as we can to you. So you can, yes, Jerry?
Sorry to interrupt you, Nuno. Can I just say to everybody, if to see it, you need to bring Nuno onto your full screen. I'm trying to remember how to do that.
Good call. Yeah, in the view, top right-hand corner on the view options, you have speaker, yes, gallery, and immersive. Whatever you do, don't press the immersive button. I don't even know what that does. But you'll probably, as Jerry is suggesting there, if you click on speaker, you'll get full screen rather than the whole gallery of people. So yeah, good call, Jerry.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, okay. So please leave on the chat all the questions. And after the presentation, we can go deep on each point that you want. So this is all about healthcare, which we know that in the United States, this is a huge part of the family budget. Here in Portugal is a little bit different. So let's go on it. Okay, so why health insurance? Do we need health insurance in Portugal? We have in Portugal two systems, the public system and the private system. So the insurers, the health insurance. Regarding public, we need to understand that the theory and reality is completely different. Some of us reach us saying that after getting the residence, we don't need a private health insurance because we access to the public. Yes, it's true, but there are a lot of constraints on the public with the public system, and we go a little bit deeper on this. Oh, sorry. Also, bear in mind that the emergency number is the 112, the US 911. And this is to firemen, to the police, to the ambulance, whatever. Everything that's emergency is through this number. Also car accidents, okay? About medication. So in Portugal, a lot of medication is funded by the Portuguese state. There are two different regimes, the generic one, the regime geral, and the special. The general is based on the kind of medication. So Infarmed is the organization that rules the medication and all the medical devices in Portugal, allowed in Portugal. And they have 4 groups of medication, and this is the share that the state pays for the medication. 90%, 69, 37, 15. You can count with like 2/3. We have a chat. I have a chat after this presentation showing this. So 2/3 of the medication usually and on average is funded by the Portuguese state. The special regime is based on the pathology itself, so the disease or the illness, and also the group of patients. For example, patients with a degree of more than 60% of disability has a different a different discount or count with a different share from the state rather than the generic regime. Sorry, wrong. So about the SNS on numbers, just to know, and this is public information. So this is not information that I can access exclusively. This is information that anyone can access. So this is the web portal of the SNS. They have a dashboard of the health in Portugal. And here we can see a lot of statistics about the health, separated by location, by specific disease, and so on and so on. Also, this happened either on the public hospital, which is what we are looking here, which is the waiting time. So before going to the hospital, we can see which is the waiting time of that in that moment to that specific hospital. And also the private hospitals, through their apps and their websites, they provide this information, okay? And here we can, well, some alerts from the Infarmed. The INEM is the organization that rules and assists all of the emergency stuff in Portugal. So this is the average participation of the SNS per medication. So you can see in green that the state, on average, participates with 2/3 of the cost of the medication, and so we patients we can participate for the remain. This is an example. This is of the Hospital Beatriz Ângelo, 2 hours away, 2 hours before. This is the picture of that hospital regarding waiting times. For example, they have defined that if it's urgent, this is 2 consults, not 2 surgeries. The waiting time should be 30 days maximum, and you can see per type of medical specialty that this waiting time is always above the maximum that the public system has defined for themselves. So it's something that we are struggling in Portugal. And these answers why is one of the answers to why private health insurance, why having health insurance. So The structure of the coverages of all of the health insurances in Portugal are based on the public system. For example, we have separately dental care and eye care, because usually these two coverages are not provided through the public sector, or they are provided but only on a is so short that it's very hard to access to this. Okay, they don't provide access. The public system, the access to alternative medicines. We have like acupuncture, thalassotherapy, and 6 more alternative medicines which are allowed in Portugal. It's only provided through the private sector, through a health insurance policy. The quality of the service, so or not the healthcare, but the service. For example, we can stay in a room with 10, 12, 20 people sharing a single bathroom. And through the private sector, usually we stay on our single room and our private bathroom. So this makes a lot of difference. Also the availability. So we have checked on the slide before about the waiting times that we have for normal situations. So it's consultations, and all of them are above the maximum that the state has defined to themselves. So the availability, if we need an appointment with the doctor, we could obtain to the same day through the private sector. Okay. And yes, the private sector, the private hospitals, they are newer rather than the public ones. Now, entering deep on which health insurance, and I defend that there are no perfect health insurance, because these depend on each of us. All of us have different needs, so the choice is different. There are some lines that are, or some factors that are important to everyone, but there are other factors that could be more important to one rather than the other. So, health insurance, people forget often that is about managing risk. Okay, so first, this is about managing risk. No matter if we pay the health insurance policy monthly, which is the most used option, it's always an annual contract. So the insurer could cancel the insurance policy in the middle of the annuity if we didn't use it. Otherwise, we need to pay all the 12 portions of the annuity. Take in consideration that we are talking about a contract. So what rules the insurance policy? Yes, the quote is important. The insurance policy is important, but it's the wording who rules all of this. Okay? Oh, and yes, it's a long-term decision. Entering on some misconceptions. So, in Portugal, we use both. We play with both the private and the public. So we don't need to choose only the public or only the private. So in some situations, we can use the public, and on others, we can use the private. Okay. This is a question that often is made, which is, and what about car accident? So car accident is a mandatory insurance. Car insurance is a mandatory insurance, and all of the car accidents needs to be solved through the auto insurance policy. This happened with car, as always with all of the mandatory insurances, like workers' compensation. Okay, so we have talked about this, that if we have a maid working each month in our home, or a paint that goes working on our home for a week, we need to have a workers' compensation. And everything that can happen to him or her must be paid. The medical expenses must be paid through the car insurance or the workers' compensation insurance, depending on the situation. So health insurance policy is one thing, car or workers' compensation is other thing. They don't mix. Okay. Another misconception is about the healthcare network and the insurer. So usually the insurer has nothing to be with the healthcare network. So the healthcare network works the insurance according the health insurance plan that the insurer has defined. So, for example, advanced care is probably most well-known healthcare network in Portugal. They are the healthcare network used by NGN, Tranquilidade, Victoria, a lot of insurers. So, and there are some some healthcare that one insurer pays and the other don't pay, even using the same healthcare network. The healthcare network is the provider of the healthcare network. Point. It has nothing to be of what the insurer insures. Medical expenses and insurance premiums. So usually the insurance premium is related with the claims, usually, but is always related with the age and with the inflation and the medical costs that usually rise. So all the insurers appraise the insurance premiums. By the way, we already received information from 2 insurers that in August they need to appraise the taxes, just taxes, because the insurance premiums are below the claims made. And this will happen with all of the market, I'm sure. So there are, for example, we will talk afterwards about MGN, and MGN, they are the only one that don't differentiate insurance premiums among people with the same insurance plan and the same age. But according to the age, the insurance premiums will rise, okay? Misconceptions about pre-existing conditions and the wordings. Pre-existing conditions. There are an error on the second point, so sorry for that. Pre-existing conditions is the manifested ill prior the enrollment on the insurance policy. Okay, it's something that has happened before. The moratorium is not used by the Portuguese insurers. I don't know anyone using this, but it is used by international insurers, which we also work with. And it works as if on the last X years, even if talking about the present condition, if this present condition has had no manifestations during the last X years, so everything that could manifest afterwards will be insured. Okay, but you will not find this on any insurer in Portugal. I only mention because I know that some of you has AIG, Bupa, and some international plans. Only these. Also, don't confuse pre-existing conditions with disease excluded, because almost all of the insurers in Portugal exclude disease, all of them. Okay, there are one exception that don't exclude any disease or illness. Now, this is an example of an exclusion, and well, this is public information, so I can mention this is from Aziza, and on the last maybe 2 weeks we had customers saying, "Oh no, but someone has insured me that there are no exclusions." So they have 4 pages. Those 4 pages of exclusions. Some are excluded in all of the insurers, all of them. For example, if someone tried to committed suicide and didn't achieve that that they want, so all the medical expenses due to that are not covered through any insurer. Okay, if someone is taking drugs, illicit drugs, so also the medical expenses arising to that through that are not insured. But despite this, we need to focus on disease, and we can see here that surgery to varicoses, I believe that is a term in English, an English term, they are not excluded. Some consultations for eye correction. So be aware, take care with these. Even though that someone insures you that there are no exclusions, well, request the full terms and give a look on the full terms, okay? About the coverage scope, so local or international, this really depends, once again, of each of us. If you are someone that is planning work around the world a lot, maybe an international plan could make sense, but is much more expensive rather than a local one. Okay, a local is what I want to mean is a Portuguese insurer. Regular or occasional medical expenses. Also, often people think that, oh, I expend usually 500 euros on medical expenses. So if the insurance premium is higher, I don't need health insurance. Remember that we are talking about managing risk. So for me personally, is not the, I don't know, the 20 euros for the medication or the 100 euros for the consultation that worries me. What worries me is suddenly, if I need 50,000 surgery and I need to do it quick. So it's here that we need, is on this that we need to think and to decide about the insurance plan, okay? Because there are some expenses that we do often, maybe not every year, but for example, lenses and frames, maybe from 2 to 2 years, it depends. Appointments with the doctor, maybe 1 a year. Dental care, don't ask me. It's every year, a lot. I spend a lot of money on that. So think on these before taking the decision, only thinking on the cost. There are some lack of coverages on all of the health insurance policies. We'll talk about this later. Red flags, and is here where a lot of the differentiations among the health insurance products is here where you need to be very alert and be aware. So yes, it's there are annual contracts. Or better, all of the contracts are annual, all of them. And every policy holder could cancel the insurance policy on the annual renewal date. But also the health insurance the insurer can cancel the insurance policy on the annual date, the renewal date. And believe me, we have situations that when people start doing claims, the insurer cancel the insurance policy or appraise the premium so much that we cannot afford anymore. So this is one. The second one is the claim versus the renewal. So it's not 100% sure that the insurer could renew or will renew the insurance policy. This is okay as long as we are health and you don't need the insurance policy, okay? But if we need for the future, for me, this is a key point, okay? Severe weather is excluded. Pre-existing conditions are excluded usually. War is excluded. Congenital disease, pandemics are excluded. Palliative care is excluded. There are maybe 2 or 3 plans, higher plans, expensive ones that covers palliative care. Hemodialysis treatments, serious illness or rare disease are excluded. Dyslexia, so all of these is excluded. I should say that they probably with one exception, and I say probably giving space to something that I could not be aware of, but according what I'm aware of, and we work with almost all of the insurers, yes, all of them exclude these or 98% of these, okay? So be aware of this when comparing. So yes, the health insurance policy is important, but maybe the provider could be also important. So for me, I love all of those items: trustworthy, reliability, expertise, availability, claims assistance, and if the provider is according to law, with the law. Supposedly, yes, but we know that there are some providers that are not according to law, and some are. And for example, last week, the biggest broker in Portugal is in very bad situation. Yeah, so the reputation is not best. So who is who on generic? So we have insurers, we have plenty of them. I only mention here Allianz. Often people ask about Allianz plans. There are specific plan of Allianz that gives the possibility of waive the pre-existing condition limitation, but it's only to some. And if you look to their wordings, you will find a lot of disease excluded. So don't focus only on the pre-existing, focus all on the full terms or the wordings, you will find disease excluded. Aziz, Amedis, Multicare, Fidelidade, and MJN. About the business concept, well, Carl knows that, and my team that he's here. And thanks for being here also, supporting Winsurance. I'm ideologic. Ideology. Carl, help me. What is the word?
Philosophically, what are you talking about? Your ethics? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So the insurers, as is supposed to be, so their focus is on profit, and there are one exception in the Portuguese market that all the money that they collect from the insurance premiums is to pay their structure, so the office, the personnel, and so on, and the claims. It's only for that. They don't have shareholders that they need to pay for the return on investment, okay? So insurance and profit, it's here because to the insurers that have the focus on the profit, part of the premium that we pay is to pay to the shareholders. Okay. Some of the providers are healthcare providers, like some hospitals selling their plans. The banks also sell their plans, and the brokers, the insurance brokers. The challenge is that I always made is do a lot of questions. No matter who is the provider in front of you, do a lot of questions. And this way you could measure if the provider is the provider to you or not. Okay. One important point is the management, the claims management and the assistance on claims. And for all of those, there are two that do this. The insurers, of course, and the insurance brokers. The banks, yes, they sell, but they don't have the product. They redirect you to the insurer. And the healthcare providers, they know about their plan and point. They don't know about insurance. Okay, the insurance on the overall concept. Some add-ons to help you on this journey in Portugal. So, if you need to check medication, similar medication of the one that you are taking in your country, you can go online. This is public information. If any of you need the link, just ask, we send to you. So this is public information. It's easy to search. Doctors Allowed. Also, in Portugal, the Ordem dos Médicos is the organization that rules all of the doctors. So every doctor that is working in Portugal supposedly is registered in Ordem dos Médicos. Otherwise, is not allowed and don't have professional liability. Okay. This is a good news. The European health insurance is free to everyone that get residence in Portugal. So once you get resident, you ask for the NIS and the SNS. The SNS number is the number of the national healthcare system, and the NIS is the social security system. So you can also request the NIS and the SNS. Online is easy if you request it through your healthcare center, the closest one, but is one of the first steps that I recommend you to do after getting residency. And after this, you can access the European health insurance, which allows you to access to the EU state public system, not to their private hospitals, but to the public system. And they function as if you are a citizen of their country. Imagine that in Portugal, you pay nothing when you access to the public system. But in Spain, you pay 100 euros, or the residents there pay 100 euros. So everyone will pay 100 euros. So it's free, but the rules are according with the EU states. I mentioned before that almost all of the health insurance policies have some restrictions, like home hospitalization and home assistance. Okay, so we tailor-made with one insurer, one insurance policy, healthcare assistance that overtakes these restrictions. And I know that this is about health, but not so much. It's about planning ahead. This plan has home assistance also, and also funeral coverage. So it's something that we have for sure, is taxes and not being here one time, sometime. So we have worked on those two plans also. a little bit of insurance, and this is something that I'm really proud, because we have very good reputation in the market, very good reputation. We have a professional E&O, errors and omissions insurance policy from 20 years till now, so since the beginning of insurance, that was never used. So what can I say despite this? And I want to share with you a tribute with someone that I'm very close. So if you spend 1 minute and something with me, I appreciate it.
This insurance broker and this insurer are linked as no other. MGen has started its operation in Portugal at Winsurance's office in Lisbon city centre. Vasco Mendes, founder of MGen in Portugal and also founder of Winsurance, kept Winsurance completely independent of MGen and have prioritized people, designing solutions for everyone who needs health insurance and healthcare. Winsurance, it really is MGen's unique first broker, maintaining a strong bond, sharing knowledge and expertise. Despite MGen, Winsurance represents IMG ALC to worldwide cover and almost all Portuguese health insurers. Get in touch with us to know more about health insurance, emailing to imsafe@winsurance.pt.
Brilliant.
So this is what I have for you.
Thank you, Nuno. That was the AI has got a little bit of work to do on the Portuguese pronunciation, I think. It's fair to say, isn't it? Makes the rest of us feel a bit better. But that was Vasco Mendes, of course, is your father, and who I guess it got you into the business in a way, but didn't necessarily want you to follow in his footsteps. And you've done a fantastic job of doing that, I think. And yeah, I'm sure there's much pride in the whole family in the way you approach the business. So thank you very much for your presentation. Superb job. Very, very comprehensive, and always telling us things we didn't know. That's the great thing about your presentations and your approach with this. So we always find out something new when you're talking about your industry there and how you can help us. We do have a few questions. Great to see Joanna's here, Camilla, Ruth, certainly others from the Winsurance team as well. Busy working behind the scenes, quite amazing. If you want to introduce yourselves, feel free. I know some of you feel more comfortable being behind the scenes and just cracking on and helping people. But if you'd like to say hi and unmute, you're very welcome to do so. And I see you've been very busy. So Nuno, if you're comfortable, should we go to some of the first questions and observations in the chat? Brilliant. Okay. The first to come in was to do with age. Thank you, Connie. This is for you, Nuno. Which healthcare companies provide coverage for 70 plus folks? At what age do they not provide coverage? Good question. And Craig wants to raise the bar to 75. So generally speaking, if you could deal with this issue of age limits, please.
So generally speaking, I should say that all of them provide coverage to people above 65 years old. The question is, what kind of cover?
Yeah.
And what you could find is mostly a small limit to hospitalization and point. It's a discount plan, not much more. And I forget to mention one important point that is, for me, I believe that some insurers could be, the word is not could be not accurate, but because I'm not English, I'm going to say this, and if someone sues me, it's because I don't know the English terminology.
Okay.
So maybe some of them could be cheating the people because they offer huge limits, but if you go deeper on the full terms and you read the full terms, you realize that, yeah, it's a huge limit, but first, they can cancel the insurance policy annually if we need a continuous healthcare. This is the first. The second is because they have so much restrictions that when I could access to this huge limit, 1 million or whatever. So the generic question is, yeah, all of them provide cover, but and I'm not part of MGN. Yes, I have the first insurance policy of MGN is ours to all of the team. Yeah, but we work with all of them, and the reason why we work mostly with MGN is because they are fair. They are the only one that don't have any kind of exclusions or of disease excluded. They need to exclude all of the mandatory one. Okay, they are common to every insurer, and also the business concept, the mutuality among their members. So they don't call to their members clients or customers or members of MGN. Also, the members, any of us could be invited someday to make part of the board, to give suggestions, to
be representatives of the customer
Oh.
base. So that's MGen are the one that are more of a not-for-profit, or the only one that's a not-for-profit that you mentioned.
He's the only one as far as I know.
Like a mutual society or an association.
Yes. So this is one part, and yes, you can go to their website, do the quote, and fine. We have everything prepared to you in English, the explanation about and the comparison about MGN and others, because in some way MGN could not be the perfect one to you if you have different needs, if you are travel a lot, or could be if you upon the health insurance you also have a travel insurance. So please talk with us, because depending on the situation, we will try to guide you along the process. Okay,
that's great. So Connie and Craig, the answer to your question is that most of the companies deal with people of a certain age, but it's really important, as Nunu said, to ask questions and make sure. And I wanted to add something to that, Nunu, because when you're in the expat position, the sense of relief in just signing up to an insurance policy is immense, because it's quite a minefield. You don't speak the language. And as soon as somebody offers you a policy, for example, in the bank, you ask maybe one or two questions and you go, okay, give it to me. I'll take it. Price seems right. That's a box ticked. And I can speak from my own experience that not asking enough questions can help you. What's the repent at leisure? You can buy in haste and repent at leisure. And it's really important, as Nunu says, to ask the questions to make sure the policy is absolutely right for you and not just those superficial, it's this much cover, it answers one or two of your most urgent and pressing questions. Really take the time to ask questions of the team.
The client that we dislike the most is the one that says, oh, do it as if it was to yourself, or give me the better.
Right, just send me the paper. Yes, okay. Yes.
Any questions? No, please. I want to inform you.
Yes, fair enough. Very good. So lots of questions. The Winsurance team are very happy to deal with all your questions. Great bunch of folks, and many of them here tonight. So there you go, Connie and Craig. Peder, good evening to you. Great to see you here in Wales. Go on, Nunu. Did you want to add something?
So, yes. If maybe I don't fully clarify the previous question, which is MGN provide full coverage to people above 64 years old.
Anything above 64. And are there upper limits? I think that was asked as well. At what age do they not provide coverage? Have you ever known that to be the case? Is there an upper age limit at all? Like, are any people too old to have insurance, basically?
MGN, there are not.
Not happening with MGN. Good to know. Okay, so let's go to Peder in Wales. Good evening to you. Even though I'm still stuck in Britain, can I buy my travel insurance from Winsurance for my D7 application? It's a good question. It's a general and universal question, and also about the timing. So you can do that. You don't have to be in Portugal, and you need to do it beforehand. But when, Nunu? What's the timescale?
Okay, so full Who answered that? Because
this is Peder, and one of your team said, yes, we can help you. Send us an email and we'll respond urgently. Many of your team here tonight have as their name, I am safe at winsurance.pt to ensure communication, which is absolutely spot on. I don't know which of your team, but then Peder was asking the question.
So thanks for asking, because we didn't have until March of last year a really insurance product to that, and we have tailor-made one with a specific insurer to respond to that. And until now, we have almost 400 insurance policies or customers.
Excellent.
That with 100% success. So
fantastic. Yeah. So yes, is the answer to that, Peder. And what about timescale? When should people get in touch, Nuno?
So it depends on who is assisting you among the process, or if you are doing for yourself. You should know when you have the meeting on the embassy or consulate or VFS in case of United States. So to that meeting, you must have the insurance certificate. Make proof that you have this insurance policy. EI is the one who handles with a very good way with the visa process. So I don't know if them who is handling with yours, but they know they are very good.
Yeah. Renata will be with us tonight on the Dream Team session. So if you want to ask that question there of EI and Renata, you can do that. And I know that Winsurance can turn these things around very quickly, but a little bit of lead time is good, isn't it? So maybe, you know, a couple of weeks before your consulate and embassy visits to get this in place, Nuno?
Oh, yes. Please don't put us under pressure. Please do that. Handle that with time, because we can go ahead with that and set the starting day for 1 month ahead, 2 months ahead.
Yeah, like many of these processes, it's probably never too soon to make the first call. A bit like working with Spartan, with EI, you know, make the first call, make the relationship, and get the time scale in position. And although Winsurance, I know, have turned things around for people within 24 and 48 hours, don't rely on that, because if everyone does that, we'll be in a pretty pickle with that. Barak, good evening to you. In regards to pre-existing conditions, if you had cancer 8 years ago and it's gone, and you're clean, as it were, is it worth bringing this up as a pre-existing condition? Thank you, whoever that was answering. It might have been Camilla there, but what would you say, Nuno, to answer that question more generally?
Yes, it's a pre-existing condition, but MJN will accept the insurance policy.
Okay. MGM could be the one for you on that front there, Barak. Good evening to you. And yeah, I mean, your team, this is Barak asking a question. No tests are necessary or have been done in years. So your remission clear there, Barak, and refer you to Nuno's answer there. Thank you for the access, Camilla, to the medication search, very important, and to check for doctors legally authorized to work in Portugal. This is sort of information we get from Winsurance that's really helpful. Bruce, good evening to you, and Vicky. Sorry, Nuno, did you want to add something?
Yes, one clarification regarding pre-existing condition. The insurer is not the one who defines if it's a pre-existing condition or not. Is always the doctor. Okay.
Okay.
And
yeah.
According with the report, so the insurer covers all. Doesn't cover.
Right. So if you're clear, basically, then, by the sound of it. Okay, Bruce and Vicky, if you can apply for the NIS and SNS when you are a temporary resident, active D7 visa, finished with SEF appointment and have actual visa, or permanent resident, you've done your 5 years. Way before that, as soon as you get temporary residency, you are able to, correct me if I'm wrong, Nuno, you can get your NIS and SNS when you arrive here in Portugal on your visa.
I don't know. It's not my field.
Okay. Well, to get the pro validation on that, join us at 9 for the Dream Team session with Renata. For that.
Yeah, they know. Renata knows. I know that after getting residency, the permanent residency, yes. About temporary, I really don't know.
Yeah, well, when you arrive, certainly you can start applying for your NIS and SNS. But as I say, check with the pros from 9 o'clock tonight. Thank you again, Camilla, for the signposting to the SNS number and Social Security NIS numbers there. Graham, thank you for this. If any pre-existing conditions are exempt from cover, i.e. cancer, can you confirm that the public health system will take you on if there is a recurrence? I think is the question there. They will, won't they? Yeah.
Yes, in Portugal, I believe that this is a constitutional right. Everyone residency in Portugal can access to free healthcare, no matter what disease or problem that they have.
Okay. A little bit different, maybe where people are from around the world, but the Portuguese health system is highly thought of in relative terms, and nobody gets turned away. And in many, I think you said before, haven't you, for something like cancer and the serious illnesses, actually the public system is very good in how it supports and helps people.
Yes, we have specific dedicated hospitals to that, which are the IPO. So we have the IPO in Lisbon, IPO in Porto, and so on. And in Lisbon, we have oncologic research center, very well known worldwide among the doctors. Okay, that is Fundação Champalimau. If any of my team could just put the link in English and the English version to their website, they are very good. They are a research center.
Your team are working very hard behind the scenes. We'll do maybe 5 or 10 minutes more and in the recorded part. And of course, there'll be a chance to ask some more personal questions when we finish the recording, and Nuno will address those and team in an open mic situation. Thanks, Camilla. All these brilliant resources that you're sharing with us, insurance brokers and insurance allowed to work in Portugal. That's fantastic as well. Len is asking, I don't know. I think this sounds as personal as it would appear on the screen. Nuno, which private insurance do you have? Maybe you'd prefer to keep that private. I don't know. Is that from the point of view of like, give me what you've got?
Usually, often when people ask me about what I recommend, I say, look, if you can read inner the lines, the insurance policy that we have for all of our personal and respective children is from MJN.
Yeah.
Assuming that we know what we are doing and that we like to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, it is a great question, isn't it? So thanks for that, Len. You know, if you want a professional view, ask the professional what they do. And I'm not certainly suggesting I'm a professional in insurance, but I use MGen as well. A happy customer of MGen, no issues there. And yeah, for full disclosure, I insure via Winsurance for both my car, which has just come up with a nice little discount for no claims this year, and also for health as well. And we're very happy with it, both in terms of cost and coverage. So thanks for that. Thanks for that question, Len. You can ask some more actually after we go into hands up, Mike, on afterwards, after recording here in the webinar. How can I cancel the insurance I got? Oh, so maybe El Quran here is in a similar situation of being pleased to be offered a bank insurance policy and signing up very quickly. However, how can I cancel that that I got from my Portuguese bank, even though they tell me it's not worthwhile? Oh, it's not worthwhile cancelling it. I mean, can you tell us about cancellations, Nuno? How quickly do you have to do that, or how do you go about it if you don't want it anymore?
Yeah. So usually insurers accept only on the annual renewal date. Okay. Usually, but there are some situations or some exceptions. For example, among the non-Portuguese community, we have had and have assisted clients on the cancellation of the insurance policy because usually they have enrolled on their insurance policy, which covers nothing or almost nothing, especially if they are above 65. And saying that, justifying these with the banks, they are allowing the cancellation in the middle of the annuity. But text us if you can send us the insurance policy to give a look, to see from what point we can pick and justify the request of cancellation.
Excellent. Okay, that's great. Really good help for El Quran there. So you can see the email address is peppered throughout the chat. So do use that and take Nuno up on his offer. Bruce and Vicky, we'll come back to your further question and Randy's as well after we've concluded the recording. Do like to keep the webinar recordings under an hour. So we're just coming up to that point of around an hour. It's been very thorough. Lots of things we didn't know, and very helpful tonight, Nuno. But just to round off with a couple of comments here. Thank you, Jose here. In our case, if you sign up for health insurance coverage in Portugal while you still have private insurance, in our case in the US, it facilitates things greatly. So recommending an overlap there. The champolimo.org is there, fchampolimo.org for the Cancer Research Institution that Nuno was talking about. And final question then for Connie. This is for you, Nuno. Are medical records or a recent doctor checkup required for insurance policies by any of the insurers companies? That's a good question, isn't it? Do you have to have supply records or have a checkup or an examination?
So usually yes. Nowadays, the medical questionnaire is made through the phone, so through a phone call, and if they detect, if you answer yes or no to something that is not supposedly to answer that way, they could require more information, or, and this is what they usually do, is exclude that particular situation, even if there is a simple one and has no issues, but is what they usually do. Also on these, NJN is different from others, and they don't ask about reports, medical records.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. Great question, Connie. And we'll come to the rest of the questions I haven't addressed when we conclude the recording, which we'll do in just a moment. But last word to you, Nuno. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. Excellent and informative presentation and brilliant response to the questions we've had. Last word from you, if you will.
Yes, could be. So for us, reputation is, we work hard on the reputation. And sometimes we are very happy with the reputation that we achieved. 2 weeks ago, after 3 refusals from MJN in this case, because I really believe on the history that the client is telling me, I feel that she is not trying to cheat the insurer, and upon our reputation, and I wrote this on an email. Look, you know that we don't cheat with insurers. So upon our reputation, I request to go ahead with the request of the customer, which is not our customer yet. Only right, on this,
yes.
But we are assisting them because they are a couple since maybe September of last year, and they approve our request. So
wonderful. Sometimes
the provider is important. If everything goes well and you don't need insurance, the provider doesn't make a difference. But if you have issues among your journey, the provider could make the difference.
That's amazing, Nuno. Thank you. So your reputation is great among your clients as well as within the industry there, and that particular company upon which you staked your reputation in appealing to them. Fantastic. Winsurance.pt. You need the PT suffix to have a look at the website. Better still, get in touch directly with the team at iamsafe@winsurance.pt. We'll leave it there for now. Thanks so much, Nuno, and the team, I have to say, who have been working hard behind the scenes as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.